So let's analyze another CGWC hand, MunEZ versus SeaLlama. Two exciting, very tough players. So under the gun versus cutoff it is, and MunEZ I think on this board will have a range check. Because SeaLlama has so many sets hitting here, and his range is just tighter or more condensed, I think, than the under gun's opening range. So MunEZ should be checking range, and SeaLlama should probably bet pure on the flop. A little bit behind here, but MunEZ call I think is he can probably raise the flop. Calls the flop, goes check on the turn. That makes a lot of sense. And I really love this min donk, because yeah, it just allows the full houses to raise, and it allows then the straight flush to shove. And yeah, I'm wondering if SeaLlama is supposed to call this pure, because yeah, there's just a bunch of better full houses, and there's I think 2 straight flushes that MunEZ could have. So let's dive into the solver to see if SeaLlama can ever fold this. Okay, so let's get into it. I first want to highlight the pre-flop strategy here for the cutoff. We see here this is a no-raked environment. You can see he's really calling a lot, calling more than 3-betting. Whereas in raked environments like 50 and L right here, we can see he's 3-betting more, and we can see the difference in how much wider the cutoff is in a no rake environment. So there's a big difference. But let's get to the post flop. I said under the gun is range checking, and it indeed is. I already checked this out. Cutoff betting 1.5, and what stands out to me is that every combo is mixing, including the sets. So including his hand, the sets are still checking quite a lot. MunEZ combo does raise sometimes, mostly calling. Now under the gun's range is still pretty strong check calling. We see every hand is calling earlier, including his sets, overpairs, and a lot of Jack X as well, of course. So MunEZ is hitting his straight a lot and still has all these strong hands, so he is allowed to donk out quite a bunch when the 10 hits right here. The solver chooses to bet small if ever, and 8s is perfectly mixing with the sets, with the pocket 8s with the heart betting much more often, because of the 8 of hearts is unblocking the 2 pairs like 9-8 and 8-7 that under the gun could call with to a bet. That's I think mostly why the pocket 8s with the hearts are betting here. Whereas this one is blocking those 2 pairs more heavily and has less incentive in betting there, is checking back way more often. So he does check back. The solver was choosing, if it only has one bet size, exactly the sizing that MunEZ chose. I also tried giving multiple sizes, and then the solver is also choosing a little bit of half pot and pot size, but it's mostly still betting small here. And again, that's probably just because he wants to bet a lot with the jack, and it's just like merging things together with the jack and everything to have one balanced sizing that gets solid value without risking too much getting raised by full houses and whatnot, if that makes any sense. Like all these jacks wants to bet for value, getting supported by full houses and whatnot. And if it starts mixing, then yeah, again, like with multiple sizes, the solver was mixing. But if it chooses one bet size, it wants to bet a small size, I think, to serve all these jacks, if you will. And we're just gonna assume that MunEZ is betting this as his only sizing, because, like I said, the solver is choosing this if only one bet size, and even with multiple bet sizes, it's mostly betting small like this. So the pocket 8s are raising, under the gun shoves with the straight flush, and interestingly, the 8s are mixing, the 7s are mixing, because we can see here, SeaLlama is supposed to have a lot of better full houses, which make up still quite large part of his overall range. You can see this pretty bulky part of his range. The king queen of diamonds makes sense that it's pure calling because it's blocking that straight flush, which is probably pretty decent part of the shoving range of MunEZ shoving range here as well. So the value range here of MunEZ is 10, 9 and 10s and the straight flush here. And so the king queen of diamonds is blocking that perfectly, as well as of course these full houses themselves. So it's calling with the stuff that is blocking that value range heavily, whereas the 8s and the 7s are not blocking the value range at all. So these are the ones that start to mix. So yeah, that's all I wanted to know. If the 8 is mixing, like if he's allowed to fold, and he's very much allowed to fold, but it's a pretty fair mix. SeaLlama made the call. I think a well played and GTO approved hand for both. And I hope you liked this video. Thank you so much for watching.